I got so much motherfucking design on right now.
Break it down, bring it back, make it clap. I got 3 old thoughts, new guap, wear that thing. Bitches on my line, and you know
Hi class. How are you? Welcome back with group 2. Today our topic is about discourse and grammar. First, Farah will talk about 1. Grammar from a discourse perspective. 2. The texture of a text. 3. Cohesion and discourse.
Hi everyone, with me again Fahradila Zahra. In this video, we are going to talk about discourse and grammar. And our first topic is about grammar from a discourse perspective. Discourse-based grammar makes a strong connection between form, function, and context, and it aims to place appropriateness and use at the center of its description. Larson Freeman stated that the form, meaning, and use need to be at the basis of all grammatical description. So that, in other words, discourse-based grammar acknowledges language choice, promote awareness of interpersonal factors in grammatical choice, and can provide insight into areas of grammar that lack of explanation. And discourse-based analysis are also useful for looking at the relationship between vocabulary items in a text. For example, the relationship between the word if and others, which are referring to inside or outside of the text, and conjunction. Alright, now we come to the texture of a text. There are 2 important attributes for the analysis of discourse. The first one is the unity of texture, and the second is the unity of structure. Alright, the first one is the unity of structure. It refers to patterns which combine together to create information structure, and it focus and flow in a text, including the schematic structure of the text. And then the second is the unity of the texture. It refers to the way of resources, such as patterns of cohesion, creates both cohesive and coherent text. The result of the texture is when language items ties meaning together in a text and to social context where the text occurs. Cohesion and discourse. Cohesion is the relationship between items in a text, such as words, phrases, and clauses, and other items such as pronouns, nouns, and conjunctions. Cohesion is also a grammatical or lexical relationship between the different elements of a text. Here, I have 5 cohesive devices. The first one is the pronouns or substitution, the ellipsis, the conjunction, the reference, and the lexical cohesion. Let's break it out one by one. When we say substitution, it is a replacement of one word or phrase with another word. It is used to avoid repetition for a particular item. For example, A said, I will have 2 eggs on the bread, and B replied, I will have the same. The second is the ellipsis. When we see ellipsis, it is the deletion or omission of the linguistic item or a word. It can be interpreted as the form of substitution in which an item is replaced by nothing. For example, A asked, where are you going? And B replied, to town, instead of I'm going to town, to make your response shorter. And the third one is the conjunction. When we say conjunction, it is a word which join words or sentences, such as but, when, so, unless, and etc. The fourth is the reference. Reference is used to describe the different ways in which entities such as things, people, events are referred to within text linguistic features. For example, pronouns are used to refer to the already mentioned item. This part will be explained more detail by the next presenter. And the last one is the lexical cohesion. When we say lexical cohesion, it established through vocabulary. Well, reference, ellipsis, conjunction tend to link clauses which are near each other in the text. Meanwhile, lexical cohesion tends to link much larger parts of the text, so that is lexical cohesion. Now, here I have an example of cohesion, and it goes this way.
My father once bought a Lincoln convertible. He did it by saving every penny he could. That car would be worth a fortune nowadays, however. He sold it to help pay for my college education. Sometimes, I think I'd rather have the convertible.
So, as you can see in this example, there are words that were highlighted with color violet and red. These are the cohesive ties used in this text, particularly in reference. For example, the word father, which is the noun, and there are also pronouns here that was used 3 times. And also a Lincoln convertible, that car, it, and the word the in the convertible. So these are the examples of a cohesive ties in reference. Another example is cohesive ties in semantics. As you can see here, there are some words that were highlighted with color green and red. The words such as both, saving, penny, worth, fortune, sold, and pay, and it can be linked to the word money. Because actually, once you see these words, the first thing that will come to our mind is the word money, right? And also, the words once, nowadays, sometimes, it can be linked to the time. And the last is the cohesive ties in grammar. As you can see, there are some words again that were highlighted green and red. The word bought, did, would, could, and sold, these are the words in past tense.
Alright, I think that's all from me. The next explanation will be explained by the next presenters.
Next, Neural will talk about 4. Reference 5. Lexical cohesion.
Assalamualaikum, hello everyone, I'm Nurul Maskara. In this video, I would like to continue my friend's presentation in the chapter of Discourse and Grammar. Now I would like to talk about reference and lexical cohesion. Check it out. Now, let's discuss about reference. Reference refers to the situation where identity of an item can be retrieved from either within or outside from the text. The main reference factors are anaphoric, cataphoric, anaphoric, and homophoric reference. Well, let's talk about anaphoric and cataphoric reference. Anaphoric and cataphoric references are linguistic devices used to link one part of a sentence to another. I'm sure that all of you have read the definition and example that is written on the book. In this video, I would like to give some other examples. First is anaphoric reference. Refers to something mentioned earlier in the text or conversation. For example, John bought a new car. He is very happy with his purchase. Here, he and his refer back to John and his new car. Second, cataphoric reference refers to something that appears later in the text or conversation. For example, before it was delivered, Sarah had already fallen in love with the dress. It had a unique design. In this case, it refers forward to the dress, which is mentioned later.
Daily conversation example anaphoric.
I met a friend yesterday. She had just returned from a vacation.
In this instance, she refers back to the previously mentioned friend. Cataphoric.
Before I show you the recipe, let me talk about the ingredients. They are the key to a delicious dish.
Here, they refers forward to the upcoming discussion about the ingredients.
Next, exophoric and homophoric reference. They are types of deities which are linguistic elements that depend on context for their meaning. Third, exophoric reference. It refers to elements in a discourse that find their meaning outside of the text or utterance. It also relies on the physical context or shared knowledge between the speaker and the listener. For example, look at that. Here, that has no clear meaning without knowing what the speaker is pointing at. Fourth, homophoric reference. It involves elements that derive their meaning from other linguistic elements within the same text or discourse. It also requires reference to other words or phrases in the same context. For example, John said he would come, but he's running late. In this case, he refers back to John in the previous sentence. Let's move on to the lexical cohesion. It refers to the relationship in meaning between lexical items in a text and in particular content, words, and the relationship between them. The main kinds of lexical cohesion are repetition, synonymy, antonymy, hyphonymy, meronymy, and collocation. The first lexical cohesion is repetition. Repetition refers to words that are repeated in a text. This includes words which are inflected for tense or number and words which are derived from particular items, such as stored and stew in the following example. Second, synonymy. Synonymy refers to words which are similar in meaning, such as date and go out in the above example and blokes and man in the following example. In English, it is not a good way to continuously repeat the same word in a text. Both blokes and man are referring to the same concept but in a different way. Third, antonymy. Antonymy describes the opposite or contrastive meanings such as shy and forward in the earlier text and women and men were players and both fads and the following text. We know as we read the text which meanings contrast with each other. Part of their meaning, indeed, derives from this contrast. Next, let's talk about hyponymy and metonymy. Halliday 1990 describes two kinds of lexical taxonomies that typically occur in text: subordination and composition. These are words which are in a kind of relationship with each other, subordination, and words that are in whole part relationship with each other, or composition. In the previous text, John and Stuart are part of the lexical items couple, whereas he's just not that into you. He is a kind of self-help book. The relationship between John and couple is an example of metonymy, and the relationship between self-help book and he's just not that into you is one of hyponymy. That's all about my presentation today. Thank you very much for your great attention. The next material will be presented by my friend Fanny Tiffany. Have a nice day.
Last, Funny will talk about 6. Collocation, 7. Conjunction.
Hi, my name is Fanny Tifano. Now I would like to talk about collocation and conjunction. Firstly, collocation. What is collocation? In general, collocation means a combination of words which is always put together to create a specific meaning. In English, there are several types of collocation, such as noun plus noun like office hours, verb plus noun like take medicine, verb plus adverb like speak loudly, verb plus preposition like depend on, adjective plus noun like heavy rain, adjective plus preposition like afraid of, and so on. So, after knowing examples of collocation, collocation is not something that is restricted to a single text, but is part of textual knowledge in general. A writer and speaker of a language draws on this knowledge of collocations as they write and speak. Expert writers and readers know that only certain items collocate with each other. That is, we know that we say take medicine, but not drink or eat medicine. Secondly, conjunction. A further way in which language contributes to the texture of a text is through the use of conjunction. What is conjunction? Conjunction refers to words such as and, however, finally, in conclusion, and so on that join phrases, clauses, or a section of a text in such a way that they express the logical semantic relationship between them. Conjunctions are described by Halliday and Hassan, 1976, under the groupings of additive, adversative, causal, and temporal conjunctions. Martin, 1992, and Martin and Rosa, 2003, further extended Halliday and Hassan's work in this area, discussing conjunctions under the categories of additive, comparative, temporal, and consequential conjunctions, which are summarized in Table 6.1. Okay, now let's take a look at Table 6.1. Additive conjunctions include and, or, moreover, in addition, and alternatively. That is, they draw the notion addition in both a positive and contrastive sense. Comparative conjunctions include whereas, but, on the other hand, likewise, and equally, drawing on the notion of comparison in both a positive and negative sense. Temporal conjunctions include while, when, after, meanwhile, then, finally, and at the same time. And the last one, consequential conjunctions include items such as so that, because, since, thus, if, therefore, in conclusion, and in this way. Not all authors, however, see conjunction in this way. Van de Coppel, 1985, for example, talks about text connectives rather than conjunctions, which are used to indicate how parts of a text are connected to each other. Chris Moore et al., 1993, discussed textual markers which help to organize discourse. Highland, 2005, adds the category of frame markers to the discussion, which include the material in the text, such as first and next. Items which label the stages of the text, such as in conclusion and finally. Items which announce the goal of the discourse, such as my aim here is to. And items which announce a change in topic, such as well and now. Alright, I think that's all from our group 2, and the next subtopics will be discussed by Group 3. Bye!
Alright class, that's all from Group 2. Thank you for watching, and see you